Why are you suffering from aches, pains and illnesses? When there's help for you. At Health Service Center, we offer a wide range of treatment that has been scientifically proven to help you with your aches, pains and illnesses. Our ICT machine is one of the most effective devices in the health field. It has shown positive results in many health problems such as back pains, shoulder pains, migraine headaches, pain in the knees and legs, poor circulation, arthritis, diabetic neuropathy, numbness in the feet, strokes and sports injuries. ICT, repairs, rebuild. The power to heal, the future of pain relief.
It is well known that diseases like diabetes, high blood pressure, and other illnesses may restrict blood flow, which can lead to impotence and erectile dysfunction. This is why Enhance was formulated to meet these challenging health problems, which can reduce your ability to perform. If you're having problems maintaining your manhood, then reclaim your manhood today with Enhance. Enhance increases your energy level, boosts your stamina, and increases your endurance.
You can get your Enhance at Southwell VA4, Restorer Pharmacy Soufre, Knights Med Miku, Lay By Bar The Morn, Dexter's Place Jeremy Street Castries, Citygate Bar The City opposite the market, Plants Place Denry Highway, Arlette Supermarket Soufre, The Release Stress Bar Labrie Highway, Cool Joint Bar Victoria Schwazel, Prios Bus Stop 22, next to the Moshi Bus Stop opposite the Grosile Bus Stop, Prios Bar and Grill in Corinth, Grosile.
Enhance, the best a man can get.
Live streaming has become one of the best ways to connect the funeral of a loved one with friends and family, both local and international. NBC Television will live stream your funerals on television and Facebook at a reasonable rate. With our state-of-the-art equipment, you can be assured that the quality of your funeral will be to your satisfaction. Call our office now and book your obituary and streaming with us. 758-453-7458.
And welcome to another episode of Public Health Insider. I know it has been a while since we've been here on Real FM and NBC Television, but we are here with some exciting news today. Of course, we start off with discussions on the St. Jude Hospital reconstruction project. Do remember that this program lasts 30 minutes, and in this particular program we have a wealth of information for you, the viewing and listening public. At this point, I would like to welcome my esteemed guest, a familiar face to PHI. Of course, this is Mr. Silas Wilson, who is the liaison officer. We had a discussion on that this morning, that's why I'm giggling. Liaison officer for the St. Jude Hospital reconstruction project. Welcome to the program, Silas.
Thank you very much, Jade Brown, and let me say good morning to your viewers and listeners. It's been a while since I've been here, but I'm very happy to be here today. There is a lot of information that we from the Ministry of Economic Development, responsible for the reconstruction of the St. Jude Hospital, would like to leave with you, our lovely listeners and viewers, in terms of the progress. There have been a lot of things that have happened since I was last here, and I certainly would be a pleasure to tell you about where we are now with this project.
Well, I do know that our listeners and our viewers are very excited about that. During our time off, we saw we received many calls, many messages asking for an update on St. Jude. And I think that people have gotten used to seeing your face and mine and hearing the messages and getting that update. So without further ado, I think that it is important to see how far we have come so far. So we began this reconstruction, the government of St. Lucia began this reconstruction project on the 1st of November 2022. Let's go back to November 2022 and work our way to present day.
Sure. Before I go back to 2022, as you have asked me to, I just want to say very quickly that every day I walk the streets of St. Lucia, whether it be in Castries, in Monrepo, the little district where I live, or in Vieux-Fort, the first question that everybody is asking is, when are we going to get St. Jude Hospital completed?
Right.
And it always brings a smile to their face when I say to them, worry not, that we are very much on course to deliver the hospital, as the Prime Minister has promised ahead of the next general elections. I'm not going to give a date today, but I can tell you, our lovely listeners and viewers, that we are getting very close. But let's go back to 2022.
Okay.
The 1st of November 2022, the government started reconstruction efforts of the hospital on November 1st, 2022. And the first component of that project included a massive cleanup of the entire site and all of the buildings that would have been part of the final St. Jude Hospital complex. That was finished by about March of 2023. And we immediately began the process of getting on board a engineering consulting firm to help us look at the design review, to help us look at aspects of our approval from the Development Control Authority. I can gladly report to you that we have a consultant on board in the name of Caribbean Consulting Engineers. And they have a diverse range of professionals, from electrical engineers to mechanical to architects to biomedical experts to even a hospital planner is on board the team of CCE.
Okay.
We have since then been able to submit an application to the DCA, and there was approval in October of 2023. You would remember as well that in August of 2023, there was a very important signing ceremony when persons from the Saudi Fund for Economic Development were in St. Lucia, and the funding for the project was approved and signed in August of 2022, some 200 million Eastern Caribbean dollars by the Saudi Fund for Economic Development. Subsequent to that, the government of St. Lucia signed a contract for the completion of 4 buildings with CIE, that's a local construction firm, to complete the West Wing, the laundry building, the dialysis, and the physiotherapy buildings. I will move a little later on and provide you with a very comprehensive report in terms of where we are on those 4 buildings. At some point in time, we will also give you some evidence of the photos to show how far we have come along with those buildings. But also, very importantly, in January of 2024, January 5th to be precise, the Ministry of Economic Development launched a tender for the completion of the remaining buildings, the civil works as well as the furniture, equipment, climate proofing, etc., on the remaining remaining buildings and to bring the hospital into completion. And there was also a second tender running simultaneously with that, and that would be for the provision of supervision consultancy services to support the rest of the civil works and to bring the hospital into completion. I have a very important update that I'm sure our listeners would be very happy to hear. That I will share.
Are we saving that till later?
No, I mean before the program is over, we will share that. We will share that with you. It's the people's business, so it's really no secret. But we are getting ready to sign those contracts at a very important ceremony sometime in September. And I will get to that before we close off this morning. But we have been working tirelessly 7 days a week to ensure that we complete the St. Jude facility. And we don't just want to complete the facility, but we want to ensure that the delayed St. Lucians have experience with the provision of medical services from a proper hospital in the south, that we provide a facility that is capable of meeting the expectations, not just of the health professionals, but also the clients and the people of St. Lucia. And this hospital is going to be fully equipped with modern medical equipment and furniture, etc., etc. Okay. But also that the buildings are of the required international standard to ensure that you can have in the south of the island the best medical care that the island can afford
as it is
to its citizens. So we are very happy with where we are today. And I just want to say that we are indeed very, 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 very grateful for the support that the government has provided to us at the Ministry of Economic Development, the Prime Minister and his office, the Ministry of Health. Also, the management team at St. Jude has been a very important partner in this process. We have had very healthy discussions with them about what it is that they would want to see, whether changes had to be made. We've gone through all of those exercises to ensure that the hospital is responsive to the needs of its clients and the medical staff who are going to be the ones to administer medical care from there. So we are very happy with where we are today. So let me get straight into the progress that we have had so far on the 4 buildings. Again, there is a current contract with CIE for the West Wing, the plumbing, laundry and maintenance building.
All right.
And the West Wing again would include the kitchen on the ground floor and the administrative offices of the hospital on the first floor. And then you have the dialysis building, from which all dialysis services will be provided on the ground floor. And again, we've said before that the new building would cause 100% increase in the capacity of St. Jude's to provide dialysis care to its patients.
All right.
So you have a situation where you currently have some 8 machines. We are going to be moving into some 15 machines, dialysis stations, when we move into the new facility. And there is the final building, which is the building that offers physiotherapy treatment to the clients of the hospital. To date, the progress on those 4 buildings is that we are somewhere about 70% overall completed on those 4 buildings. The primary reason for that, we should have already been completed, but the snag that we experience is as a result of a lot of the air conditioning, HVAC equipment and supplies, materials, and some other items like doors, etc. Were delayed for quite some time, and they were in Jamaica some 3 months or so, and there were some shipping challenges that the contractor had experienced. We are happy to report that all of those items are currently on island, and that the HVAC work has progressed very, 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 very smoothly over the last 2-3 months or so. So far, we have completed all of the mechanical work in those 4 buildings. All of the electrical cabling, piping, etc. has been completed. All of the plumbing has already been completed. All of the provisions for the fire alarms and fire prevention systems, firefighting systems are already installed in those buildings. All of the internal HVAC work is already in. So you have all of your ducts already in place, all of your other things to support the air conditioning systems, your pipes and so on, already installed in those buildings above the ceiling. All of the medical gas pipelines are already installed, and so far all of the ceiling work is already completed on all of those 4 buildings. So everything that goes above the ceiling, all of the services that go in above the ceiling has already been installed.
And I believe that we do have some footage of the 4 buildings. So as you speak, we will be showing some of that footage of the 4 buildings that Silas is speaking of, namely the admin building as well as the kitchen, and then we have the laundry, and then dialysis and also physiotherapy. We will be getting some more footage of the St. Jude Hospital, but we have a wealth of it right now, and I'm sure you can see that on your screens, a video update of the St. Jude Hospital reconstruction.
Now, I just want to say that the items that I referred to there earlier, the mechanical, the medical gas lines, the air conditioning, etc., etc., these are the most critical components that are required for the proper functioning of a hospital. These are the most technical and those that require the most skilled labor in a hospital completion project. And we are very happy that we have substantially completed all of those activities so far.
Okay.
And this is what truly makes a hospital operate as it is supposed to function. So we've already completed all of those items. What we require now for those 4 buildings, the outstanding components that we still have, and now that we are starting to look at installing the electrical fixtures, plumbing fixtures, so your face basins and your toilets and your faucets, etc., etc. These have started to be installed. You have some plastering that has to happen still. You're finishing your tiling, and the tiling is substantially completed, but there are some areas that we need to now, because you've already completed a lot of the works above. Now you need to go and complete some of your tiling works, but all of the bathrooms have already done, the tiling has already been done, so it's just some of the areas where you have the office workers and so on that we need to do the tiling. And in the kitchen, of course, area, we still have some internal works to do with, completing some of the partitions, etc., etc., for the kitchen. So we are significantly advanced on those 4 buildings. As I said earlier, we are somewhere about 70% completed.
Okay.
And we should be completed well ahead of the end of 2024 on those 4 buildings. So that certainly allows me now to move into phase 2 of the project. As we have said before, the project was divided into 2 phases. Phase 1 would have been the completion of the first 4 buildings, and phase 2 would involve what we are about to move into in September.
And what is that?
And that would include, of course, the remaining buildings, and importantly, you have in there the surgical building and the east wing, from where all of the medical services of St. Jude would be provided. There are some other buildings that have already been completed, for instance, the morgue, the warehouse, but some additional work is required to bring those buildings into a stage of completion that they can be incorporated into the full complex. So these 2 buildings, as I said earlier, the east wing and the surgical wing. The surgical wing, of course, is where you would have accident and emergency downstairs, and upstairs you would have your operating theaters, 2 of them. You would have your intensive care rooms, etc., etc., and your surgical wards on the upstairs of the surgical ward. And on the east wing, you would have all your outpatient clinics downstairs that building, and upstairs you would have all your medical wards. Your maternity as well would be upstairs, the east wing, where you have your C-section theater, etc., etc. Then you have your nursery for your children, and the pediatric ward would be downstairs, the east wing. So we are getting ready to sign the final 2 contracts on September the 12th. On September the 12th, the governor of St. Lucia is going to host a signing ceremony at the Finance Administrative Center, September the 12th, where we expect to have...
And that's a very important piece of information. Very important piece of information there.
On September 12th, as I said before in the previous program, we had launched the tender exercise on January the 5th of 2024, where we advertised internationally the reconstruction work to complete St. Jude. That includes the 2 buildings, East Wing, Surgical Wing, and the remaining buildings in the facility. All of the perimeter works, all of your external works, your sewage lines, your sewage treatment plant, to bring all of those into operation, completion of the car parks, and all of your climate proofing works as well. solar panels, rainwater harvesting. All of these are part and parcel of phase 2.
Okay.
And on September the 12th, the government will be hosting a contract signing ceremony at the Finance Administrative Center in Castries. We expect to be present representatives from the Saudi Fund for Economic Development. I believe the CEO and a senior officer will be in attendance at that signing ceremony. All of the contracts have been fully negotiated and vetted, and they're ready for signing. The contractor will be the same contractor who is currently working on the 4 buildings. I can say that publicly, and as well the consultant, the successful bidder in terms of the consultant happens to be CCE. That's the same consultant who's currently working on the 4 buildings that we engaged last year as well.
Right.
The contractor is mobilizing all of his resources to ensure that as soon as September 12th comes and the contracts are signed, that we can hit the ground running at 110 miles per hour. One can expect to see a huge difference in terms of the hours at which people work on the project, as well as the number of people that are employed on the project. But I can say to you today definitively that all systems are pointing in a very good direction, and that we are absolutely sure that at this point in time we have done all the heavy lifting, we have done all the design reviews, we have sought the permission of the Development Control Authority, and we have secured that. We have the funding in place. So everything is lined up properly to ensure that there are no more delays in St. Jude. Let me just tell you on a side, Jade, yesterday, that for the second time in less than a year, I had reason to donate blood at the St. Jude Hospital. And I can say to you today that the conditions are not ideal, but they have some exceptional staff at St. Jude who work there. And my experience yesterday again donating blood was such a wonderful one. It really made you feel that despite the challenges that the staff are feeling with the physical construct around them and the limitations that it poses to them, but they really go out of their way to ensure that they deliver an exceptional quality of medical services to the people who walk into those doors every day. And I know that they are looking forward to moving away from that stadium and to moving and
I think that this news would be one that is very much welcome.
And yesterday when I said to them that your wait is not very long, you had to see the smiles on their faces, because you know, I mean, it's really been a labor of love for them, and I think the country owes those people a huge debt that I don't know if we'll ever be able to pay them for. But we know for sure that we can see the light at the end of the tunnel. This is closer than you believe, a lot closer than you believe, and sometime very soon, St. Lucians will wake up one morning and not have to go to the stadium in Vieux-Fort to seek medical services, but instead on the OJ site. And I look forward to that day with bated breath.
Not just you, I almost said Nigel, Silas, but many people from the South as well. I know that they are very, very much anxious and excited about this project. It has been a long time coming.
It has certainly been a long time coming. This year, September, is going to be 15 years since that fire of 2009, and I certainly know for sure that after this anniversary, the people of the South will feel a certain sense of relief that this project is coming to its logical conclusion, and that the people of the South will have a very modern facility that they can go into. And I say modern, Jade, because for too long we tend to think that buildings make a hospital, and that is far from the truth.
Yeah. So once
buildings are important.
We have about less than 5 minutes left.
But I can say to you that from our end of the project, we will ensure that St. Jude is equipped with, and we've taken the time to do this very, very, very meticulously, to ensure that St. Jude is not just given a good building, but that there is equipment that can support this provision of medical services in the south of the island that cannot be compared to anywhere else in this country.
Not just the structure, as you said, but the commissioning is very important.
That is correct as well. So there's a lot of commissioning work going on simultaneously.
Right. So a team has already been put in place.
St. Jude Hospital, and I think they were here with you sometime earlier this year, and they explain what their role is to look at all of the systems that currently exist at the stadium, and to look at what is going to happen when they move to the new facility, and to find a mechanism to be able to plug all those gaps. There will be an increased number of staff, as you know, compared to what they currently have. A significant more staff, a number of staff members are going to be employed. All of those things are being looked at as we speak. So while we are completing the facility and ensuring that the buildings are okay, we are also ensuring that we have the right systems to ensure that there are no gaps. Because you're essentially dealing with the lives of individuals. You're
over
dealing
60,000.
You're dealing with people's lives, and people come into our hospital because they're not well, and they would expect when they leave the hospital that they would be better.
Right.
And there's really no room for error where that is concerned. So we're ensuring that all of those scenarios are considered, and that at the end of the day, the hospital is properly built, properly equipped, and properly staffed as well.
I'm also taking a look at our Facebook page. I think we had a discussion this morning, Silas, where we agreed that as of the next episode, hopefully Nigel agrees, we have not discussed with Real FM, but we will be taking calls. Oh, we get a thumbs up from the manager, so that's fantastic. We will be taking calls as of the next episode, but I am looking at our Facebook page and some of the comments. Of course, we encourage all comments, but as long as they are respectful. I know that many people are, can I say, not pessimistic, but they have their doubts. But that is why it is important to continue the conversation, and so that people can tune in and be informed and get the facts from the individuals like Silas, who are on the ground daily and who have the facts and who are presenting it to you, so that when you would like an update on St. Jude, you don't get it by the street corner. You get it from the individuals who are on ground. So we do appreciate that there will be people who may express their concerns, who may express their doubts, but it is our job, my job as a communication specialist and Silas's as the liaison officer, to provide that information to you. We have 2 minutes left on the show. I'm going to allow Silas to give a quick recap. Good morning to everybody on the live. Thank you for tuning in. Next week we will be focusing on universal health coverage, and then the week after that St. Jude again. So Silas, for those who tune in late, and we get that a lot, for those who tune in late, please just give us a quick recap in the last minute of the program.
Well, like I said earlier, so far we are 70% overall completed on the 4 buildings that have currently been contracted out. And those 4 buildings essentially would be the West Wing, where you have the admin offices upstairs on the first floor, and you have the kitchen and cafeteria on the ground floor. You have the laundry, maintenance and power room as well. And then there's also the physiotherapy and the dialysis building. And those buildings are overall somewhere in the region of about 70% completed. We have done all of the work that the services, that are the ceiling, up into the ceiling, and we're talking about mechanical, electrical, plumbing, your fire alarm systems, your HVAC, AC, internally, the firefighting equipment, your medical gas lines, and the ceilings as well would be part and parcel of everything that has been completed so far. These are the most critical components of a hospital. Your services are very important, and we've already completed those. We still have some more work to do on those buildings, but the more difficult technical things have already been attended to. The doors are on site. We've already started installing doors. Plumbing fixtures have already started going in, so toilets, face basins, etc. The tiling is significantly advanced in all of the bathrooms, etc., etc. There's just some areas where you have some more tiling to do, and not all the floors are going to be tiled. Some of the floors require different kind of flooring. So some of them would be vinyl, etc. But all of that material is already on site, and your painting, some last minute plastering, touching up and making sure that the buildings look nice, etc., is what is required on those on those 4 buildings.
And for those who don't know, what's happening on the 12th?
On the 12th of September, we have the contract signing ceremony, where we had launched in January of this year the tender for the additional buildings that would make up the full complex. And by that I mean the West Wing, the East Wing, the surgical wing and the East Wing, and all the other buildings, the ambulance building, the morgue, the warehouse, the car park, all of the other services required for a hospital. So your sewage, manholes and your sewage lines, all your perimeter drains and your roads. We also have to do an additional exit on the cantonment side. Okay. That is one of the requirements that the DCA had stipulated, that we need to create an additional exit, because there is going to be a car park to the western side of the facility, and in order for us to do that, the one exit now, which would essentially service the warehouse and the solid waste area and the sewage treatment plant, would not be sufficient. So we are going to be creating another exit, entrance to the hospital on the western side near the cantonment junction. Okay. All of these are part and parcel of phase 2. We are signing the contracts on September the 12th at the Finance Administrative Center on that day, and that would essentially symbolize perhaps the most important milestone in the history of St. Jude in that 15-year story since the fire started.
Thank you so much, Silas. Unfortunately, we have come to an end of the program. I do want to quickly say to some of our commenters, one in particular, what did Philip J. Pierre do with the 2.5 health and security levy? Part of what I can speak to is the health part of it, went to universal health coverage, and under universal health coverage, we 2 weeks ago launched a new phase or an additional service under cervical cancer screening that your loved ones can access at no cost. We also launched maternal and child health services where your loved ones can access lab and ultrasound services at no cost. And we will be launching prostate cancer screening where your loved ones can access at no cost.
And I believe there's also the 80 and over program where seniors,
yes, the 80 plus program, and that comes at no cost. So that is what the 2.5 health and security, the health part of it, went to under Philip J. Pierre. So I hope we provided some clarification there. Do join us again next week Wednesday from 9:30 a.m. on MBC Television, Real FM, Facebook, and we will be taking calls as of next week, so you can call in. I think we will dedicate the last 10 minutes of the program to our callers. So everybody on Facebook, thank you so much for tuning in. That was your update on the St. Jude Hospital Reconstruction Project. I am Jade Brown. This has been Public Health Insider.
Why are you suffering from aches, pains and illnesses? when there's help for you. At Health Service Center, we offer a wide range of treatment that has been